Hey, how's everybody doing today? I wanted to take time to make a video about the leadership grade at Officer Candidate School. You'd be surprised that not too many people know the answer to, if you was to ask them, what events consist of your leadership score? A lot of people will give you the cookie cutter answer of peer evals and chits and your billet and your SULEs and LRC, and they're partially correct. All of those do make up a part of your leadership grade uh, at Officer Candidate School. But what I want to do is take time to talk about the different events that make up the overall leadership grade. We're going to talk about the percentage, how much each one is weighted, and along with that, I want to give you pointers as to what you can do now prior to attending Officer Candidate School on how to improve so that you can maximize your grade and do a little bit better when the time comes and you have to now perform under the specific event that falls under the leadership aspect of, uh, of your GPA. Uh, so before that, I do want to talk to you about the just as that new slide that pulled up, a little bit about the percentage. So your leadership in itself is worth 50%. Academics 25, physical fitness 25. Now these events I'm going to talk to you about, these are the actual events that are graded. This is not an opinion. This is not what I've heard or whatnot. These are the actual events that make up your GPA for leadership. You have the leadership reaction course 1 and 2. You have the small unit leadership evaluations 1 and 2. And now you have the command evals, which is the most important ones, and you will see why once I address it in this video. But you have 3 command evaluations uh, in the entire uh, uh, period of instructions. And then, believe it or not, you have a platoon commander's inspection. And not too many people were aware that the platoon commander's inspection was part of your leadership. Now again, these are the different events that all combined, and they all are weighted differently, but all combined, it's given what gives you your overall GPA uh, at OCS. Again, it's 50%. So when I talk about the grades, it's whatever grade divided by that 50% of the overall GPA. Now, the first event that I want to talk about is the leadership reaction course. The way to read this is, for example, LRC1 is worth 3% of the 50%, and it's given LRC1 is training day 14 uh, through through training day 20. LRC2 it's given it's 6% of that, and it's training day 35 to 40. What is the LRC? Well, just like in the picture, it's a small obstacle. It's a lot of obstacles all together, but what happens is you're going to take your fire team. You're going to be given a 5 paragraph order from hires. You're going to have to know how to deliver it to your fire team, and then you execute uh, whatever the obstacle is. Now, the number one mistake a lot of candidates make, um, and as an also I still get phone calls about this. It's when candidates they try so hard to complete the obstacle that they lose focus of the task at hand. Right, the task at hand, which is what you're being evaluated on, is how do you deliver a 5 paragraph order, and how well can you communicate that 5 paragraph order. It's not about finishing the obstacle. I'm not telling you to gaff it off as you should be trying 100% anyway, but I've seen the actual score sheets for LRCs and SULEs, and not and none of the score sheets that I've seen does it say did the candidate finish the obstacle. If you didn't finish it, don't worry about it. As long as you communicate it well and you deliver the 5 paragraph order with confidence, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna pass. You're gonna have a passing grade on the LRC. Again, know your 5 paragraph order. I hit on that before on what that means, but study that, and then you should have no issues when your time comes. So just be confident, communicate, and get to know your fire team very well, as they will be also assisting you here. So the next event I want to talk about, it's the Small Unit Leadership Evaluation, or SULE. Again, training day 28 to 30. It's SULE 1, approximately, I want to say week 4, maybe week 3 or 4. I think week 4, and then SULE 2 is like week 8, I want to say. And again, it's 16% combined of your overall 50% of your leadership. So pretty significant here. Some tips that I want to give you. Well, let me kind of first explain what the SULE is. Yeah, unlike the LRC, which is in a kind of in a contained space, the SULE, you're out in the woods, and you're given an order from hires, and you have to execute with a fire team. It's more of a tactical scenario. You move out, you have a compass, you use different type of fire team or squad formations, and you go execute a certain task. Uh, so the piece of advice that I would give you for this is it's just like the LRC, know your 5 paragraph order, but on top of that, study your hand and arm signals. That's very important. And your fire team is squad formations. Why? Because you have to move. You have to move with your fire team or your squad during the SULEs. And if you don't know those prior to going to OCS, it's just added stress or added material that you have to study at officer candidate school. Again, very significant. Confidence it's always a must during these events. But again, my recommendation is know your 5 paragraph order, study your hand and arm signals, and your fire team and squad formations. Now, the next event is the platoon commander's inspection. Although it's only worth 50% of your overall GPA, obviously put forth max effort. But all this is, it's your platoon commander coming in front of you, and they're inspecting you. They're inspecting your confidence. They're inspecting your knowledge. So make sure you know your knowledge. 5 paragraph order, leadership traits, know your rank structure, and just general knowledge, because they're going to ask you that when they stand in front of you. They're going to inspect your weapon and your uniform, so make sure that is squared away. Don't gaff it off, because a lot of times as you're cleaning your weapon or uniform and you're tired, you're going to tend to make comfort-based decisions, and that's when you're going to get caught, and you will not have a good day at officer candidate school. So try your best to have your weapon and your uniform squared away. The other one is sound and look confident. That is the biggest thing your platoon commander is looking for during this time is how you react, and if you're nervous or not. And even though you're gonna be nervous, just know how to control that. And then no inspection arms. So inspection arms, it's a movement you do both in drill and during these type of inspections. Um, and practice, especially pulling the bolt to the rear. If you're not familiar with the M16, you're probably thinking, what did he say? What do you mean pull the bolt to the rear? Well, it's going to make sense to you. It's a movement in the inspection arms move that for some candidates it becomes difficult. So again, study that or practice it, and then do well in the platoon commander's inspection. Um, don't really, if it's the platoon commander himself or herself, that you really don't want to be sounding off as loud as possible, because that's not what they want. But if it's a sergeant instructor inspection, then obviously you want to sound off. But keep this in mind. Just sergeant instructor inspection is not in here. It's not a graded event, but it is a reflection of how well you're going to do, and use those as a practice to the platoon commander's inspection, which is worth. It's a graded event for your leadership there. As you can see, that picture is a young lady going through that inspection, and that's kind of what the platoon commander's inspection looks like. Now, the command eval, this is probably the most important one. As you can see, it's worth about 1/4% of the 50%. I do want to start off by telling you this, that I have seen candidates meet the standards. What I mean by that is they've scored 80% in their academics, 80% on their PT or above, and over 80% in leadership overall. but they have, for whatever reason, scored, let's say, a 78 on the command eval 3, guess what? I have seen candidates dropped. Even though they've met the standard, the staff at your platoon staff, uh, based upon your attitude and based upon your performance, feel that you will not make a good Marine officer. So again, all of this will not matter if you don't do well with your command evals, even if you meet the standards, right? So I've seen candidates do very well in SULEs and LRCs, scored very high, but your staff just doesn't think you're a good fit to serve as a Marine. You will be sent home. Uh, so again, notice that chits, billets, peer evals are not individual events by themselves as far as what your command eval is. I will talk to you about what the command eval consists of, but I needed to get that out the way, that each individual one doesn't make up a grade. Rather, what it does is they all combine together, and the staff uses all these tools to assign a grade to you, and these grades are known as your command evals. What I'm going to do in the next slide is kind of give you some pointers as to what you could be doing to improve your command evaluation grades when your staff hands them out during the training cycle. Now, how are you assigned a command eval grade? Well, this is how this happens, right? At least when I was a sergeant instructor, this is how we did it. You would take the platoon. Let's say there's 60 individuals in the platoon, and let's say the top 3 and the bottom 3 are going to be given maybe in the high 90s, or depending where you're at in the training cycle, 92s, 94s. The low ones are given 78s, and then everybody else is kind of ranked. But again, it's the platoon staff that is giving you this score. And how do they come up with this score? Well, peer evals is one, right? So your peers see how you perform when the instructors are not around. So if the instructors think that you're a good candidate, but your peers are telling the staff, like, listen, this guy's a spotlight performer. He's not really, he's goofing off. He's not doing what he's supposed to when you're not looking. Your score's going to drop some. The other way around is that if you're kind of a quiet candidate, but your peers are like candidates, whoever you are, it's very helpful and whatnot. Your peer evals can bump up your command eval. Your command billets, right? You're given command billets. And I'm going to tell you guys something here is that if the first command billets that you get, 90% of you are going to fail. I'm not telling you that to discourage you, but I'm giving you the inside kind of secrets here. You're going to fail. The command billets that matter most are the ones that come after that first one, because OCS is designed for you to fail, and they want to see what you do with that failure. If you cannot execute and you did not learn from your first failing command billet, now you're going to start getting hit harder on your follow-up command evaluations. So again, command billets, I've had candidates call me, oh, I failed. Well, guess what? Everybody fails the command billets, especially if you're a non-prior and you're given a billet in the beginning. No matter how good you are, it's designed for you to fail. Again, this is like the masked magician type secrets, but again, I need you guys to kind of understand that. And then chits, obviously they're effective if you're getting in trouble and the sergeant instructors keep assigning you chits. Chits or essays, right? They talk about that. You know, as a team, we're behind the closed doors. There's a big board, and we have all the candidates, and we start talking about it. And sergeant instructor XYZ gave candidate Smith 100 chits. Obviously, your command eval score would drop at that point. So again, these are kind of the 3 tools that are used for the staff uses these to give you a chit. Now, for the next slide, I'm going to give you some pointers on what you can do now prior to going to OCS, so that you can prepare better to deal with this command evaluation grade. Now, what can you do to improve? Well, keep this in mind, right? Like, when you show up to OCS, there's going to be some guys that are going to stick out both negatively and positive, right? Like some are going to be prior sergeant instructors and that are pretty good, and those guys are usually going to be the top 2 3 guys in your platoon in the beginning, right? And then you're going to have some candidates that do not know their left foot from their right foot. Those are kind of going to be the bad ones. From there, everybody's going to be kind of clumped up in the middle, right? So one way that you can stick out both good or bad is through your drill. Keep this in mind. You're going to drill so much that is how the sergeant instructors are going to start noticing you. If you go out there and you start performing horrible at drill and your name is called out every time you drill, you're gonna get hit on not just on your peer evals, but the staff is gonna remember that, and it's gonna affect your grade. So how do you fix that? Well, learn drill. Do some. You should know left foot, right foot, about face, to the rear march, how to pivot. You should know how to do a left and right face. Obviously, you won't know too much of the weapons manual or the weapons drill, but that's okay. You should know the other stuff as much as you can. Everywhere you go, you should be marching around. Just get used to that, because that's going to help you. The other one is sounding off. Sergeant instructors love candidates that sound off. If you're the candidate that really kind of lost a little bit and you're a little bit slower than most, you can make up with that by sounding off. So don't worry about your throat. If your throat hurts, oh well, right? Like, just get out of your comfort zone, sound off loud, lose your voice, and again, that's going to be a good perk or advantage that you're going to have uh, going into your command evaluation grades. Uh, the other one is that it's in knowledge and PT and all the other stuff still make up that command eval grade. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's your overall performance, right? I have yet to see a high command eval grade with low knowledge or low PT. It just does not exist, right? It's kind of like where the selection board and also doesn't rank a guy running a 240 PFT as his best guy. That's just not how it works, right? So do well in your knowledge and do well in your PT, and those are grades among themselves. But just understand that they make up your command evaluation grade as well. uh, Move fast and make friends with others. Learn the basics of what's a skivvy shirt, learn your what's a pack, or it's different parts of the pack. Learn that so that when the certain instructor tells you go back there and grab X, Y, or Z, you know exactly where it's at, and you're going in and out instead of looking around and see what others are doing. Uh, Seek help from the priors. There's going to be some very good priors in your platoon. Hang out with them. Ask them what you're doing wrong and how you can improve and whatnot, and you will do a lot better with that. Uh, Again, guys, these are all secrets. I won't say secrets, but these are all. This is material that I share with my candidates, the ones going to OCS. But again, the goal of this channel is to prepare as much as I can, especially myself as I'm kind of on the way out of the Marine Corps, to prepare you guys as much as I can for the rigors of officer candidate school. Uh, so again, just take a look at this and work at some of this. But the most important thing above all else is that confidence and understanding that you're going to get put through the grinder and just going through it with your head up, and coming out on the other side. Guys, I would appreciate if you leave me some feedback. Let me know if there's any questions, what you think about the channel, good, bad, it doesn't matter to me. Uh, uh, and if you need to contact me at carlos.duban@marines.usmc.mil. Contact me here. Either way, guys, I hope this helped, and I hope, wish you success in your journey to become Marine officers. Thank you.